Good evening. We need to switch this up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Schmoe Me the Money. We are back after a little bit of a hiatus. You can blame Jeff for this because he's tired. He's been very busy.
Yeah, very, very busy. That's just what happens. Life gets in the way, and sometimes you get a little burnt out. You take a week off, and you come back stronger than ever. Are we stronger than ever? No, we don't have a panel or anything, but we're here to talk about the matches from last week. There were a bunch of them.
Last 2 weeks, we have tried, at least.
Attempted.
Yeah, we've attempted, and it just
really put a lot of effort into it. When we say try, it's like we reach out to one person. If they were busy, we're like, all right, cool, just us then. We don't actually really try. Like if their schedule doesn't make sense because we reached out to them on short notice, like, oh well, sucks to suck for us.
Sucks to suck for us. That is very true. How have you been, Quiz Show?
Been very busy. I've been very tired. Just between working and other things, and I went on a vacation this past weekend, which is why we didn't do our Schmoe Me the Real Friday thing. I went to Memphis. I remember most
Memphis, Tennessee.
I remember most of it. There was a day where things were a struggle, but other than that, it was good. How about you? How have you been, Buck?
Good. It's been weird having my last Tuesday nights free. Don't know what to do with myself. But it is what it is. Excited to talk some Schmoedown. Had 5 matches last week. I was in person for 3 of them, by the way, at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. Mm-hmm. So I've known the results of these for a bit. So very excited to talk about them. Let's just go ahead and get started. The first match of the week was an IG tournament match. Chance the Cobra Ellison versus Moose Haas. And just get straight to it. Chance lost via TKO.
Yeah. Very, very big week for Chance.
Yeah.
That he saw both ends of the 13-12 TKO spectrum.
So crazy, right? Like, it's the same score. He's just on the opposite side.
Correct. It's
but
kind of
Shannon has
crazy.
said multiple times, Chance's focus is not IG. He's just really assisting corruption. And with Mike being as dominant as he is, Mike's not in this year's tournament. So they had to put in someone, and they got to put in Chance. Chance won the tournament last year. Did pretty well.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense as to why.
Absolutely. So Moose played pretty well. Moose was like, I love how Moose's first match, we didn't actually get to hear him talk.
No, we heard Moose's match. We heard Moose speak in his first match. In his last match.
His second match.
Yeah. You have to remember. You have to remember. He went up against a very formidable, very memorable opponent in his debut. I can't believe you forgot about this already. It was a riveting match.
I forgot
him
about
versus
Jacob,
the Wonder, Jacob Whitney.
Okay. I forgot that was his first match where Jacob got lucky and got Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, it was like, how do I put it? It's like this frog was Jacob Whitnaben, and then here are the questions that were just being shoved down his throat. It doesn't look like he could really take it there.
Is that a Pez dispenser?
I have no idea.
Why the hell do you have that at your desk? Like, seriously?
I don't know. It came from my wife's office. Someone had it on their desk, and now it's right here next to me. Anyways, so yeah, Ellison versus Haas. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like Haas wasn't like, it wasn't that he was like this incredible player that day, because he missed all steal possibilities.
It's not slander if it's the truth. It's not slander if it's true. So
yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Jake, normally Jeff is the one that times you out. Don't make me do it.
I'm not timing anyone out for a while. I'm good. Yeah, there were some crazy round one questions there. But the Conan the Destroyer one, MIB International, what's his name? PJ's been throwing some curveballs and whatnot, running so that way in round ones and other stuff. The question is actually about a sequel. So, yeah. Yeah, just remember.
I'm never giving you that
are,
power on this channel. I'm never gonna give you that power.
Jake, you're a mod everywhere. Just be free. Be a viewer here.
It's fine. Okay. You don't have to have the power.
Yeah.
Even though Jake showed me how to make people mods, so we wouldn't been able to figure out how to do it without Jake.
Hold up. I can't wait. All right, I'm holding, man. You gotta what's his name? To who?
What,
you?
Jake? I don't know. I don't know. Jacob.
I don't even remember what I said. I don't even remember what I said 2 minutes ago, man. I'm so tired. I still got Memphis on the brain and the things I did in Memphis. But
I mean, it was 6-5 after round one. They both didn't really do that well.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I had a brain fart. Oh shit. What's your name? Lacavetta, right? It happens. I won't get it wrong, Lacky Poo. Yeah, no, it was a 13-12. It was just a case of Chance didn't really hit, and he made it. Kind of actually goes in a lot to what Mike said when we get to Mike's match when he was up against Chandru. Chance was trying to go on the same path this year. It seemed he seemed to be doing a very similar thing as Mike of trying to like dominate three divisions.
It's hard,
but
I don't think anyone can ever do it. Especially with them expanding IG. Last year's IG, I could definitely see it being possible. I become a third host. Do you want to come on? Should we let him on?
No. Okay. I want to get through this as fast as possible. I want to get through this as quickly as possible with the least amount of pain. That's what she said to Jake. All right. So I think that it was a matter of Chance really was focusing more so on the singles teams aspect. And I think he wants group them together because it's the same kind of questions. Those are the same ones. The difference is you have someone else to rely upon for certain sections of the match.
So Haas gets TMNT, gets 6 out of 10. Ellison gets Star Wars, gets 5. So it's 13-10. After round 2, Chance only gets his 2. Marvel, and he's like, who?
Palm Clement.
Christian, there were 2 points throughout the taping of this day where Christian struggled with pronunciation.
Irradiated.
Yeah, no.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that one.
We'll get to that. Haas wins. Plays Saul, by the way. So that's going to be an interesting next match.
That is definitely going to be a very interesting next match for sure. It's funny. I don't think that Jake just keeps distracting, man. I don't want to be on the screen with this asshole on the right anyway. That's fine. You don't have to be. That's why you're not invited on here right now.
I love how Jake's derailing the conversation. That's what this channel is. We just go off on tangents or we get derailed.
No, there's literally a channel called Irradiated. There's literally a channel now called Off the Rails.
Formerly the PJ Cable Network.
The thing is, though, that does infer that at one point things were on the rails, and I like to think that there are no rails. I completely lost track. I don't know where we were talking. Ellison lost to Haas, and what we know is that he tried because he did really well last year, but IG isn't his passion. It's the singles teams that's the passion there, specifically singles right now. And now we're going to get to see what that means in October at the live event in New York. He's going to be coming from Arizona to New York, and it's going to be crazy.
We will talk about that match. That's our final match we're talking about this week. But congrats to the Finstock Exchange. Hand someone another TKO, and what's funny is Haas was
Yep.
wearing the TKO shirt.
I know, right? And I can't believe that I was invited on C2A either. That is crazy. Who the fuck would do that? How desperate do you have?
It's weird because Paul couldn't do it because he was busy, but Paul later comes on.
Yeah, Paul's never busy. Paul's such a whore for YouTube shows. He'll show up whenever he needs to be there or whenever he wants to be there. That's like, Paul.
Paul can be on the phone trying to save someone's life, and there's like, hey, Paul, you want to come on our YouTube channel? Sure. Sets up his phone, probably. Like, Paul, like you said, is a whore.
He's doing CPR in between giving his takes on the latest match. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next match, because honestly, like, there was nothing like incredibly spectacular about that one. It was just like unfortunate for Chance.
We had a Tuesday match.
Yeah.
Like Tuesday brand new Tuesday match for the first time, and I don't even know how long. Typically, the Tuesday is you get, I think, like the $1 patrons get it. The match that drops on Wednesday, but this was free. This was public match. Number 1 contender teams match, Lightning Time versus Final Exam. I got a hot take here. I think Final Exam needs to split up. Lon's just not getting it done. Lon is the reason they keep losing.
It's very weird because Lon has such a deep bench of knowledge. And he's consistently kind of like gone hot and cold in how we've been able to see him. When he's cold, he's still not bad. He's just always the B player of the team.
Like, how many number 1 contender matches has Final Exam had in the last year? Like 3? And they keep losing. And then they have one match to then go back to a number 1 contender. They win that. They just can't get over the hump.
What's funny is they were basically like they were like even the whole time. Ethan was obviously just going toe to toe with Paul the whole way through.
I think Paul does not want to see Ethan again. 3 losses. Singles,
in 3 divisions,
IGs, and teams. He's like,
all right,
I don't want to see this man again.
Listen, Christian, if you're listening or watching, and I know you are, I don't actually know. You got to put them in a special Star Wars match to see if Ethan can go 4 for 4.
Oh my god.
Not really, because I mean, like that's not their specialties there. But no, yeah, I don't know about I don't know if Paul would want to see Ethan anytime soon either. It's like, it's so unfortunate too, because like, you know, IG's isn't really the hit, isn't like the hit for either of them either. That was just sort of like I guess they're needed more of someone a backup to be put in
for their factions.
Well, a feud means that it kind of goes back and forth. Leo, a feud means that the hits keep coming back and forth. But in this case, that's not what happens. But I think that I think the Final Exam is pretty much done at this point as well. I think that after this match, they decided that maybe they are going to be done, and that's why Midterms is now in the tournament instead. I think
they had to submit who was in before they filmed this match. Most likely.
No, I believe that they were planning on it, and then after this match, they were going to be doing it, and then after this match, you know, maybe minds are made up. Maybe Paul, this is the other thing, is Paul still has that championship match in his back pocket from Free For All.
Also, I know he's not watching right now, but I want to call out Shug for his dumbass take of Ethan. No. Paul would give his title shot to Chandra. Why would Paul do that? That makes no sense, Shug. I love you, dude, but that is a terrible take. Make sure you go ahead and watch it on the What Real Entertainment channel. They have their shows on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. I love those. Those are our boys. Those are our boys over there. Matt, absolutely. Chris, and Shug.
Look at this. Jerry Morris.
Jerry, we got the old Yama shill in the chat.
I don't even remember the last time that we spoke, Jerry.
It's like he knew we were talking about him. It's like he knew.
That's true. Yeah. I want Paul to give it to Smets if he gives it to anyone. I don't. I think that Paul's going to use it for himself at some point. If if Smets were to ever come back, Smets is never going to want to just be handed a chance to do something. Smets is going to be the kind of guy that would want to climb his way back up because he's fought his way through everything, and he's not gonna just like be handed something. He wants to show, and he's going to want to prove that he's just as good as he ever was, blah, 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 etc. All those positive
I don't
things.
know if someone has said this. I feel like I heard this somewhere. So say Paul doesn't go far in the singles tournament. What if he uses his title shot at Spectacular?
I was wondering and kind of hoping that that's the case. I mean, it's not like
I feel like I heard that somewhere. Like I feel
said
like
it
that's
the
not
other
my
day
idea.
to someone, but I might have been talking with like Paul or someone about it. I don't know. But not Paul Yama, Paul Denuzzo, PLD. Maybe I like it would be a great thing to do, to just do something very similar to Collision when Sam Levine did that to Dan.
Yep.
I think that would be a great way to end the year.
At Spectacular, so that would be amazing to see in person.
Yeah, we'll be there, so we'll be able to watch it live. That would be crazy. And there's already going to be 6 matches there. Like, come on, just do a quick 7th one. Just do that.
Yeah, like we're gonna be there all day anyway. What's another 45 minutes?
Partis, we had just agreed that Lon really isn't the one that's gonna work his best. I look at this. Yeah, see, I mean, if Christian said in the Q&A he already knows how Yama's gonna use it, well, cross your fingers. I'm hoping that it is going to be that, because he's not going to have a singles. He's not going to use a singles title like that in just like a digital format. Hey man, look, it's a place where people are going to be able to sleep. That's it.
And hopefully not get the cops called on them, Jake.
Yeah, it'll be the easy place. You guys can take all the risk.
Yeah, exactly.
I was health and safety chair once. I understand risk.
But what was
back
funny?
To lightning time, by the way.
Yeah, back to lightning time.
Liz was similar.
I love how they were in the same place, by the way. Mm-hmm. They were probably like 10, 15 feet apart. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no,
because she looks over this way. Ethan looks this way.
It was a very funny bit, but it was kind of like distracting how Ethan's mic was just not working. Like they realized that it wasn't working, and they knew and they knew like I guess, all right, cool, Liz, you're the one who's going to be saying final answer for everything. By the way, I wish that could just be something I was about to say, like, I guess when things aren't going to be as digital anymore, it won't matter, but like final answer really does, I think, make the difference for a lot of people. So that's like a weird, like, hanging Chad sort of thing with the rules. But I don't know. That seems like it's training people to certain things, but we'll see about that.
I still don't think we're going to see those in live tapings or studio matches, because we're not going to hear them conversing. So we won't they won't have to say, oh, this is what.
Yeah, no, yeah, look, Ashley, you seem like someone who needs to just be in a house that's been baby proofed. So I think soft house, as opposed to something that's like all sharp and everything. Yeah. I think it is something that's really been trained for digital, but there's going to be a lot more digital stuff next year outside of the main Schmoedown things. Mm-hmm. So we don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do with the FCL.
Yeah. But anyways, Lightning Time is now going to go on to face Shazam, and I bet that's going to be in a match, probably in the Cantina.
I thought it was funny during Sudden Death. 3 questions in a row, just Paul and Ethan just getting it, and Lon and Liz. Mm-hmm. There's 3 in a row, and then I knew the final question. Well,
because it's like one of your favorite things of all time.
I love Draft Day. I love Draft Day. Is Jerry in your house? Jerry's not in my house now. Okay, so
no, Jerry, you're not in my house. You're in the other house.
With this man.
Yeah, you're in the house with Paul. But I am also in an Airbnb with Paul, but that will be in New York in October.
Yes.
So that'll be
congrats.
Weird.
I got to think about
Congrats
this.
to Ethan and
right
Sam
now.
And Liz and...
I would say Ethan is hands down leaps and bounds player of the year. He has the singles belt.
Think about it.
He has the singles belt. He's 1 win away from the team's belt. And to me, player of the year should go to someone that does the best in both singles and teams, or in more than one division. Like if Chance had, say last year after he won the IG tournament, say that he beat Chandru and maybe was doing well in singles and teams, I would have put him over Snyder. But because of what Snyder did in singles and teams tournament last year, that's why he was my player of the year.
Yeah. No, I get it. I don't disagree. I'd say at this point he probably is. Jerry, if you actually do want to be over an hour's, we're the quieter house. You're absolutely welcome. You can always hit us up.
I've seen some people say Ethan could be comeback player of the year. I'm like, no, he didn't have a bad year last year.
Okay. All right. We need people to understand what a comeback player is. What is it to have a comeback? All right. This is, by the way,
it's JTE. Important. JTE is player. No one else is close, in my opinion.
Comeback player of the year?
Yes, I think.
To me, it's Demolanta, but we'll have to see, because it's between JTE and Demolanta. We'll have to see though. Demolanta has, up until
Ashley. No, don't make me time you out too. I will time you out.
All right. Okay. All right. Hold on. This is where I'm coming here.
Yeah.
That's not a definition. It's just a flawed take on reality. And unfortunately, a flawed take on reality is unfortunately not reflective of reality. A comeback player is not like, to have a comeback is not to be like, oh, well, their last match was a loss and now they got to win, or they got 2 losses at the end of last year, so now they got to win. Like I'm seeing,
who's set up
player of the year
for comeback next year? Goddard and Collins.
Yes,
if Collins loses, are set up for next year.
Preston could be
next year. They are set up.
All right, but like someone who's like, I see it's like, Chance could be a comeback player of the year.
No,
all right, why?
He won the IG tournament. No, he's not.
He won the IG. He won the Intergeekdom tournament. Yeah, but he lost. Yeah, but he won several in a row, and he also won a belt last year. That's not a comeback. You don't then do well the next year. You're just on the same level. Maybe you slightly improve in a way, but you're on the same level when all is said and done. Okay, who else could be a comeback player of the year? Oh, people are saying that Ethan was in how many like huge matches last year? He won a bunch of stuff. He lost some other things.
Singles title
he
match.
Was in a singles match. He was in a singles title match. That's not a comeback player. What are you doing, Maisie? Get off of the desk. Stop it. Stop it.
I think we should just pump the brakes because we're gonna go on a tangent here.
Speaking of comebacks, hey Shug. How you doing?
Yeah, Shug. I called your take about Yama giving the title shot to Paul giving his title shot to Chandru, a bad take. So if you want to go back and listen, I don't agree with it. I think it's a terrible take.
Yeah, you can either go back and listen, or you can come on here, Shug, and argue. Either's fine with me.
So next match,
Yama and Harley.
Slick Nick. He did pretty well. He did all right.
Nick, the fucking loser, Harley. I'm quoting Bushcar. When they were on, do you remember that? They were on here, and then instead of actually debating or arguing about matches, it was just Bushcar coming up with.
Yes, you did. Because
I'm sending him the link. All right.
It's gonna.
No, but like, do you remember that though? Bushcar, instead of like debating with Nick about matches, he just kept trying to figure out words that rhymed with Nick in order to just call him a bunch of insults instead. Nick, and then after Nick the Dick Harley, Nick the Prick Harley, and he finally just gives up. Nick the fucking loser
just became
Harley.
A burn session, and I couldn't stop And that match is why we have. If you're listening on audio, I'm so sorry. If you're listening on audio.
Oh yeah. I'd like to revise my previous statement. I'm not sending Jake the link.
Jake Yagavetta.
If Shug wants the link, I sent it to him. We'll see if he actually shows up.
So,
but you know, look, Harley acquitted himself. You know, he acquitted himself fairly well. Round 1 was a little rough. It was a little difficult, and then he did really well. He did really well in round 2, though. He swept Reese Witherspoon.
He checked down.
Oh, shut the fuck up. He swept Reese Witherspoon there.
But so did Yama with classics. So they didn't gain ground on that one.
Which, by the way, I just want to back up. Kurosawa was hit for the final exam versus Lightning Time.
Yeah.
I knew all of those questions. Those are all like, no. What I mean by that is I know a handful of things about Kurosawa. I don't have a hugely like deep bench of knowledge. Is this the first time Kurosawa's been hit? Because for someone who's like gleaned over it feels like within the first like 2 times it's been hit type level of questions.
Let me check.
And this is why I feel like people need to do like basic cursory reviews of this, because something like this could be the best way for someone to get some like a quick new strength when you get this sort of level, because like they literally were asking like who the lead actor was that he's worked with a bunch of times, and it's either Toshiro Mifune or Takashi Shimura, like these guys that have been in 20 fucking movies. It's or the movie Ran, where he was nominated for an Oscar. Like these things that are like very big facts that if you just do a cursory review of Kurosawa, you'll learn. So if they're PJ and crew haven't gotten to the deeper level of questions yet, and I think that this early on, it's worth for some people to really try to like put their nose into the books there and just like, you know, review some of these Kurosawa films. Some of them, they'll be very rewarding for other stuff too, because of all the reboot remakes things, because he has so many that are like Shakespeare adaptations, and he has so many things that are also like that. He has things that were turned into like Magnificent Seven and things like that. Like I don't know. I think that
I think it was the first time this year.
Jake,
God, you said
I mean, you could.
We're not forcing you to watch, by the way. But we appreciate you watching.
Could you actually? Could you share that link? I want to see Irish people eat hot peppers or something. You know what else I want to see? I want to see Shug here argue with Buck. How you doing, Shug?
Hey, buddy.
How you guys doing? I apologize for the loud background noise. I have kids here, and I have Cocomelon on the TV. That shit is like crack to kids. I don't know what the hell it is, but it is. To hear kids screaming right now, I apologize. So I'm gonna have to mute my mic every once in a while. But Buck, I never said that. It was a take that somebody asked. It was a take somebody else said, and I didn't say it. And now you got me in trouble because Matt's gonna see this and like, wait a minute, Shug, you were supposed to be on our show tonight. Why aren't you on the show? It's because I got screaming ass kids watching fucking Cocomelon like crack over here. Okay, and you piss me off, Buck. Made me come on this damn show.
That's what I do.
Relaxing, and you're pissing me off. Like,
okay,
seriously.
I swore I heard you say that you think Paul should give his title shot to someone else, and I swear
no. I think he should use it for next year to bring a big name. Him and Lon are done. I like Lon. Don't get me wrong. Lon's a great character, great person. Him and Paul are not going to win, and they've been very close. Which
I feel like they keep running a quick sprint, and like the last 50 feet. They trip up because they keep getting a number 1 contender in teams, but they just can't get over the hump. So I just think
exactly.
You got to change it up.
And so my question was to Matt was, does Oyama stay with Swag, or does Yama go back to the dungeon or another team? I feel he should go back to the dungeon.
That's where he won his title.
And
the problem, there's a problem with that. The problem is the 5-person lineup for next year.
Okay, so here's my hot take. Dan Murrells will not be in the league yet next year. I think Dan Murrell's going to retire. He's going to retire next year. I think he's done with Schmoedown.
I think
Ben Bateman. I think Ben Bateman's going to be a loner, and he's not going to do a whole faction thing. I don't know this because Jeff, Bateman better than me. I think Bateman's going to be a loner. I think Dameral's is going to retire, and I think that Kaiser is going to get that dungeon feel back. I feel Kevin Smets is going to make his comeback next year, and I feel that he's going to bring it's going to be Yama, Kevin Smets, Parker, or I don't think he can keep Parker as a flex, and then then Oyama's going to be able to pick a team with the player he wants. It might be Ben Bateman. Could you imagine Ben Bateman and Paula Yama as a team and singles players? That would be.
Is that any different than Dan and Ben? Like they're both top tier talent.
It would just be something different for Ben.
I think people would still go after him, saying, "Oh, he's jumping on that hot train."
No, this to me would not be that situation. I would not. I don't even. Now that the years progress, I understand what Bateman was trying to do. He wasn't really. It wasn't like Kaiser was making a super team. Ben was just going with the best option to try to win the title as a team and have
not just that, like also someone that he had a great relationship with too.
That too,
because like a lot of people like in this phase of the Schmoedown, like this thing where they were able to kind of knew where they were teaming up and everything, and they were able to make the choices on their own, and it wasn't like produced. In the same way, the teams weren't produced; they were all like drafted. It was all honestly chosen. Blah blah blah. I think this was something where.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeff. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say like this is something where like a lot certain teams like this one here.
I just realized
it was obviously.
Realized this. We're talking about Oyama and Ben, and Jerry's just like probably dying on the inside. I forgot.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Jerry, I'm so sorry, man. But like, look, if that were to ever in this hypothetical, if Ben and Oyama were to ever get together, you just know Jerry's gonna make this.
Absolutely, you'd be like, no.
Fight through the pain, Jerry. No, like this was something where they built things specifically because of relationships they knew. And how they knew they'd be able to work together, like communication wise, etc. Because we've seen how Ben and Dan work together. It wasn't just a matter of like what's the best way to the belt, because they have some similar knowledge. It's not just that. We've seen them. They have a whole rhythm of communication and whatnot that works pretty well for them. And in my opinion, I think it works better than like a team that has a better record, like Lightning Time, because I've seen time and time again between Lightning Time and with Ethan and Liz, I see stuff where it's like Liz is saying something and Ethan is just like not listening and brushing it off, and then Ethan said something else. Or that blended thing, it took until the last possible section after repeats for her to convince him because he wasn't listening. It's there are things where it's like this sense of communication is off with some teams. I never feel, except for in one question where I think they went to multiple choice or something between Dan and Ben. Other than that, they've been very communicative, I think, the whole way through. So like, yeah, I don't know if Dan's would actually step away after this year.
It is a hot take, Chug.
It's definitely a hot take. I know nothing behind the scenes or anything like that. This is just me personally, and you're right, Jeff. Dan and Ben have been great, and their record doesn't prove it because I think they just ran into just certain things that happen.
That's what happens. Sometimes great things. It just happened. Great players hit buzzsaws all the time.
And look, I could be wrong. Dameral's could come back next year. I think from just what I'm reading from when he tweets things or when he talks about Schmoedown, I think he's a little burnt out on it, and I think he might want to take
matches lately.
He takes some, especially the last 2 years.
They've had a lot of matches.
Yeah. Now Ben, obviously, he's young, so he loves the Schmoedown, so he's not going to step away. And so I just think that Dan might take some time off, and that maybe not fully retire, but I think he might take some time off to
Maybe he'll
Maybe
be
he
able
could
to
be a loner.
look.
so
If someone
then-
wants to take time off, they could be a loner. That's exactly.
They could be a loner, yeah.
Like
but
for
I
instance,
think
Andrego's not retired. That's why they never filled in
No.
his spot in that roster. Also
Yeah.
because the Stars are like done, so why even try?
They are put a fork in them done.
Jesus,
Um,
if I would have told you last year that Stars probably going to finish dead last. First off, I would have told you Swag and the Stars are going to be the lower half. Everyone would be like, "Are you crazy?" You
Yeah,
don't know
not
what
after
you're
last.
talking
And now this year they both like
just imploded, just imploded, and I think
Mhm.
it's just crazy to see that.
which
When
by the
she-
way,
from Roxy,
this actually brings us to a great spot, which is Oyama and Harley, which is what we were just talking about. Stars versus Swag. Swag needed this. Stars needed this.
needed
Now
it,
here's
yeah.
the deal.
yeah,
This was Harley's debut match
Singles
as a
match.
singles competitor. He first showed up in teams with Chaos Theory, and they did really well. Him and Bancroft did really solid against whoever Pop Quiz, and that was it. Like now today, Harley is finally it happened to be a buzzsaw, and Paul Oyama drew blood because Harley never lost in the FCL. And if anyone saw his title match in the FCL, that wasn't just like an easy FCL match like a lot of them had been. That started like it was a pretty solid match overall, and it went several questions into sudden death.
Well, I
Very,
can tell you,
very
Jeff,
solid match.
Well, I can tell you, Jeff, what Nick Harley's problem was in that match is he wore a Cleveland Brown shirt. If he doesn't win the Cleveland Brown shirt, he wins. He just wins the match. He automatically wins. But he put a Cleveland Brown shirt on, and when you do that, guess what's going to happen? You lose. So
I mean, he's from
that's just how it is.
Ohio.
Hey, that sounds like a personal problem. No, I love Nick Harley.
This is one
He
of
played-
few matches, and he's from Ohio.
I can't
no.
say anything because I'm
Yeah, there we go.
can't say
There-
anything.
Trying to decide, should I let Matt know that Suge is trashing Cleveland on our
No,
show?
because he's gonna get mad at me. Why are you on a show when you told me you were
Oh,
busy?
come on. There's
And I'm supposed
1,000
to be
other
busy.
reasons why Matt could be mad at you.
Oh, that's true. No, look, Nick Harley played the best to his ability. I think he could have played better. I know he said that he missed his three, that he knew the answer. But he's playing an ex-champion. Oyama is on a good run right now. And so I'm not mad at Nick Harley. I think he did a great job. I think if he had been anywhere else in the bracket,
which
he'd be in the
was
second round.
Crucial.
Yeah, I think he did a great job. I just think, the three-pointer, he said he knew, and that was a tough five-pointer.
I think
Some
that
people knew
what
it.
happened was that it didn't help that he was going to be a singles competitor in the tournament and film at a time where his manager was hype woman Christy V, who's great, by the way. She's great.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
I think she if Christian
I
wants
don't-
to expand and add more managers, Christy V is
she
not a
can
bad
be very
option.
fun, but like Roxy is great at like being able to work with who the players are that she has, and this is a brand new competitor who has only worked with Bancroft. Really, we don't know what they do behind the scenes either. We can't speak to that, but like Roxy had to go and like this is obviously like filmed while she had her movie filming, which good for her, by the way. It's really exciting. Can't wait to see that final product and support them. But this was obviously filmed in that time frame, and due to that, that was one less person to be in his corner, and like Chrissy V, she could be a good substitute in one way, but like when you are the guy who was the first champion of a brand new league that's an offshoot of this under the same banner, under the same like organization, and then you get pulled up to the big leagues, and your very first singles thing that you're ever going to do, like your first thing where you have to be on your own, is you being put up against a steamroller of an ex-champion who has like a scary amount of knowledge, like a super horrifying amount of knowledge if you have to go up against him, and you don't have like your own manager there in your corner other than maybe a phone call or two during the day, because they have to work, they have to film. Filming can be long and arduous. Like I can only imagine, if that adds extra pressure. And having said that, he didn't do badly. He didn't win, but he avoided the TKO, and he just lost because he got He no one knows, like, unless you're like really big on movies, no one's gonna immediately recognize Jan Damage as a director. No one's gonna be like, oh yeah, the guy who directed 71, he's the one that directed this movie. It's White Boy Rick, definitely. White Boy Rick flopped. It was a fucking bomb for these guys, and it wasn't the best reviewed movie either. It was okay. It's a very forgettable film. Killer Joe, not the worst guess. And then comes Percy Jackson question, where the answer is Alexandra Daddario.
Yeah, I even knew that one.
Yeah, but like not everyone does with that. I guessed it because it's the only actress that I know in that movie, other in like young girl, like the only young person that's not like Rosario Dawson that I know from that movie. But like that movie didn't make as much money as it should have. It was not well received. People don't like it. People don't go back and check it out. It's not a movie that would normally end up being like studied over and over and over. People are more excited at the idea of a Disney Plus adaptation of it than to actually the movie as it exists now.
Yeah.
As of right now, it stands mostly as being like an oddity amongst Chris Columbus's films of him trying to make another Harry Potter series out of it. So I don't really fault him on missing that question. It was a difficult. The questions he missed, some of them were difficult, but you know, I think that he performed admirably when so many cards were up against him.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? He gets a second shot at the. He gets a second shot at the team's tournament.
Exactly.
And I think I think they're gonna be really good. I think they're a dark horse in that tournament. I said he was a dark horse in this tournament. But like you said, that those were some tough questions. And I know who the actress is for the Percy Jackson. I just don't know the name, but I knew who she was right away. The whiteboard Rick question, I didn't know because I've never seen.
I know why that question was asked this time around. Because she's just on the huge HBO smash hit limited series, The White Lotus. Okay. That was airing.
I did. Match was filmed. I don't know why people shit on Percy Jackson. I like that movie. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I have bad taste. I don't know.
I think, Shug, I'm going to be honest with you. You have bad taste. So
I know. Thank you for reminding me, Jeff. Thank you. Where the hell were you last Friday? Huh? We're supposed to do a
Memphis.
show. You just ditch Buck. Okay.
I will tell you after this stream what happened to me that Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Memphis,
yeah,
okay?
let's not do it. Let's not do it on stream.
So because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to tell you all of it, but it's only because I don't remember.
So I think Paul has a shot of winning his quadrant because he'll play the winner of Barbarian.
Let me look up what it is.
Yeah, hold on. We gotta wait for Shug to get up to date. Like, come on, Shug.
Yeah,
I think maybe Brendan Meyer could take him down. I think
Brendan Meyer could definitely be someone to take him down because Brendan Meyer
from are you talking about in that quadrant book? You're talking in that quadrant?
I think Paul takes that quadrant.
He's the favorite, but you're telling me you're going to pick him over Adam Collins or
the way Collins has been playing this year, yes.
That's true, but if you're matching them up, if Collins dominates Peggy, and then dominates Brendan Meyer, that's the only way we see that match. I will favor Adam Collins because I think I hate to say this. Nick Harley was the FCL champion. You expect Paul to win that match. If you're a betting person, you expect him. Barbarian hasn't had a great year.
Barbarian needs to win that match.
So he has to win that match.
Nope.
If the Ronnie beats Barbarian,
Jake, you are timed out for that comment. You are timed out for that comment. He says
he advocated a show that hasn't been live for a while.
Oh,
he says the only tournament that matters is Schmoe.
It's a C2A.
Okay.
Let me finish my thought. So if Alonzo beats Barbarian, you're going to pick Oyama beating Duralde.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Paul has the easiest path to the quarters, and if it's Adam Collins, he has to play. Adam Collins beats Brendan Meyer, and he beats Peggy Govins. I'm kind of going to favor Adam Collins, a little bit, just because he beats Brendan Meyer. because that's a hard match. We saw it last year.
Collins is 0-2 in singles.
Yeah, okay, he's 0-2, but it's the tournament. Where did Collins make his name last year?
As
in the
nobody
gives a
last
shit
year.
about whether or not it's called a tournament or whatever. You know what it is? It's another match.
I think Peggy. I want Peggy to win. I truly want Peggy to win, and I'm going to pick
that.
Her
Is upset of the year. If she pulls
that
off,
no. The upset of the year is Jessica Slow. Damn, no, that's upset of the year.
Oh well, that's not happening.
Wow, Buck. Wow, Buck. Really?
I think Dan wants to do. Dan hasn't been in
Jessica
a singles
is
tournament
a very
for
nice
a while.
girl, and it's a shame that they put her in the position of losing the way she's going.
Well, you know what?
Hopefully she puts up a good fight.
I did a bracket breakdown.
That match airs this week, by the way.
That match I did a bracket breakdown, and I did it with ASG, Euro Schmoes, and Galaxy. No, but he says something very interesting. Why is Jessica matched up against Dan Murrow when it should actually be Alonso Duralde? Jessica's 2-1 this year.
That's true.
Alonso Duralde is 0-0. I think Christian messed up that seed. Jessica should be.
Christian said that he did so many different matchups.
I think that what happened was.
But if you switch it, because if you before you go,
did you say Jessica is 2-1 this year?
Yeah, she's won 2 matches. I think she's 1-1 or 2-1.
She's 1-1.
I thought she won.
She won against Beth May.
And
then she lost against Frankie Alvarez.
I thought she won one more. Okay,
I trust Leah Logan.
Okay, I do trust Leah Logan. Okay, but even if she's 1-1, she should be there because even on
Alonso
that side,
has played this year.
There's 3.
No, total singles.
Okay. I was about to say.
And not only that, there's 3 Den members all on one side of that bracket.
Yeah, I know.
So part of it also has to do with scheduling. Part of it has to do with the fact that seating goes out the door with a lot of this stuff and part of it has to do with like trying to put together factions and how factions are organized, because factions make it incredibly hard to properly put.
That's why Christian wants to get rid of factions.
I don't think he wants. I don't think he wants to get rid of factions. I think he wants to get rid of the idea that people can't play each other. And that there's so many people. There's what, 12 people per faction? 12, right? Am I correct? 12?
10.
Yeah, there's 12.
There's 12 with 10 factions. Wait, no, eight factions
with 12 players. That's a lot of players. Yeah. There's a lot of players, and here's the problem: they were trying to get so many. Like Del Rio was a perfect example. They couldn't get the Dan Del Rio a match, but as soon as he left the den, he was able to get one through the dungeon. That's just
2-0 now.
He's 3-0. Yeah, no, he's 2-0. Yeah, he's 2-0. So I think, wow, HG. He said Christian was afraid Alonso would be dead. Yeah,
because Alonso doesn't miss a round 2 question. So
yeah. I mean,
but Jeremy, that's not true. If we're going to we're still going to have factions next year. It's not. I don't think it has nothing to do with factions. It has to do with how he can schedule people.
The size, I think.
Yeah,
I think the size. There's too many competitors. Unfortunately, we have 8 factions, 12, 96 competitors. It's impossible to get everyone a match. It's just not possible.
I think if we didn't have COVID and you could do live matches and digital matches, but the problem is he doesn't like digital matches. I think he could fit it. But obviously, we're not going to be able to do that, so it is what it is. Yeah. I don't want to get rid of factions.
There are multiple things to consider. I'm sorry for interrupting you. There's a few things to consider, because there's only so much logic you can bring into this stuff. When it comes to a bracket, the most simple thing is it goes with seeding. Number 1 versus number 16. Like that's how it's always been. Like that's sort of crazy stuff like that. But then you also take into account all of the different the factions. Oh, well, how can we make it even? If we make it even, then you can't follow seeding properly. So you have to figure out somewhere the difference between seeding and factions, and that's why so many sides of the brackets have so many 3 on one side, 1 on the other. It's just kind of how it shook out. And then comes a third prong, which is this is not only a sport. the match itself is
Jake. I'm gonna do it again. I don't care that you messaged me
He's DMing me the bracket, and
he sent it to me too. He's trying to press it out.
But look, what was I saying? There's 3 prongs to this. It's actually how to seed in a bracket. Then of course it is. And then after that comes you also have to make it work for factions. Then comes the third thing. The match itself and the questions that are in there, and when the players are actually playing, that is the sport. Everything around that is the show. So this is where the whole thing of some sort, like having an analytical mind and looking at it purely as a numbers thing does not work, because you have a showrunner in Christian and all the great work he does running something that a lot of people watch and try to look at as just a sport, but it is this cross between the two, which is why we have things like when it could have been a 1-1 versus an 0-1 to go up against Dan, he chose the 1-1. And maybe he did it because he wanted to have Dan be able to move on more, because Dan's one of the big stars of it. Maybe he wanted to see Alonso go up against someone else because Alonso hasn't done anything else. Yeah, doesn't it show what more of a chance of an upset? Yeah, sure. So that's why Jess may have an upset against Dan. So if your logic is this idea of upsets, then you shouldn't be like, oh well, this one won't have an upset, but this one will. Anyone can have an upset any day. And he has people that he wants to put on certain paths. And there this idea of like, well, I want to see them do this and this and this if this works out this way. I think that trying to put it in a position of it's being rigged in some way and you're questioning it speaks to a level of where there's a difference between maybe not always being happy with how some aspects of a show may be created and questioning the integrity of the people involved. And I think that this bracket was such a shit show in so many ways because of the multiple different variables that went into it.
We never got an official movie trivia Schmoedown bracket, by the way.
We never got one. Look, we know that they're very popular with the Schmoedown now. A certain point of view. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you check them out, subscribe, all that stuff. They got great people there. We know that the only bracket that's officially been shared
is the one
that Certain Point of View created, and Christian has shared that. This is, and if you looked at it, it's a great looking bracket too. That POV did. Christian and crew, they're so busy with so much stuff that they have to take care of.
Filming the matches, they just didn't have time
everything.
To make one.
The kind of work that goes into it all it's kind of mind-boggling. Like the amount of stress that a lot of people must be under to just deal with something like, well, we got to make sure this can be here and this has to be here, because maybe sometimes, because they're also human, they do their best, and this is what we're going to get as a result of that. Occasionally there might be a slip up, but shut the fuck up, Patrick. State sponsored media. No, that's the rundown and backstage. Those are the state sponsored media of the Schmoedown.
No, we've been talking about Oyama Harley for a bit, so let's just
have we? I thought we just went off on a wild tangent for a while.
I blame Shug.
Well, hey, I think that part of it was a pretty good conversation. Why don't we?
You always blame me. You always,
because it's the easy thing to do. It's the easy thing to do.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should blame him. I find that a little crazy.
Like all of a sudden, I'd be trying to prove that I'm not crazy when I knew I wasn't crazy.
Right.
Sorry.
Look at
that.
Yes, Jeff. You fucking asshole. I personally don't think that anybody thinks that Christian is trying to rig it. I think that's far-fetched.
No. Not at all.
Yeah. But I think for me personally, I think he just has so much he has to do that it's hard for him. Like, he has to think of 20 million things.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
It's hard. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Jeff. But look, I like what we have in the bracket. Like it's really good. It's going to be some great matches. I'm excited to watch it. And see where it goes. And like, can Collins make a run? This is the first? What? Damaro hasn't been in the tournament for a long time.
Singles tournament. I mean, yes, the team tournament he did at the start of the year was like the first.
No, I'm talking about singles.
Now, I want us to move on. I think we're talking in circles on there. I want to move on, but first, Dragon 17 asking about the panels. So we had a panel a couple weeks ago, and we took some time off from it just because, like, with things kind of opening up a little more, people's schedules have been a little more difficult, and also Buck and I got lazy. We got tired, had a lot of work, and just like sometimes when you do this so much and you're constantly working on this, sometimes you get a little burnt out and you want to do something like easy and laid back. And sometimes this just sitting here talking about it, it's a little easier to do. You don't have to schedule around it because you have to remember, like our panel, if it's 2 or 3 people, and our good friend Zach, who helps behind the scenes with the scoreboard, and maybe sometimes we have 4 people as a guest. Like we've had up to 7 people where we have to coordinate schedules to make it work.
Yeah,
sometimes. It's just sometimes it's a little more difficult, and because obviously we're just like it's just us. It's a matter of like what happens. So it's I think that the best thing is like we do this when we can, and when we get panels, we're gonna bring them back.
He won't give up.
Stop it! I timed him out again. So
is there a limit, by the way, how many times you can type someone?
Not at all. We're just gonna keep it going. So, all right.
I have a feeling we're gonna move on it. Yeah. Moving on to the first match on Friday, the Inner Geekdom Championship of the World. Mike the Killer Kalinowski against Chandru the Chosen Dandapani. Those pre-match promos were some of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. Chandru, what the hell were you wearing? Like, I was trying to figure that out when I was like, what is he's a blonde wig, has on overall, like I couldn't figure out who he was.
Oh, it was pretty obvious, but that's because I also recently watched Birds of Prey.
Is that supposed to be Harley?
Yes. Like it's my copy of it like right here. It's somewhere. I have the 4K right around here somewhere. Is it not on the cover? Oh, it's not on this cover. It's on the other cover. Damn, it's her in her yellow suspenders and stuff. It's her in her yellow suspenders.
I guess I didn't recognize
or gold. Yeah, that's right. Jeremy's right. Like he had the egg sandwich and everything.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't watched in a while, so I wasn't sure on that one. But this match really came down to the speed round. Buzz around.
just like
the singles title match at Scum and Villainy
match
a couple weeks.
And here's the thing though, Dan didn't look shook during that match. He just wasn't able to do it as fast. This looks like it doesn't matter what the speed round is. In the specialty divisions, Swag gets shook in the speed rounds, right?
I think it was the first time Chandru had done the Jeremy, the atmosphere, the energy during this match. Whoo!
Sitting in a close-knit space with a bunch of people during a pandemic must have been great. Yeah, no, but masks and vaccination statuses. It seemed like it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. So Mike is, I think Mike could be, depending on what Corruption does in the teams tournament, could be under consideration for Player of the Year.
So I got a question for you then, and if
because he's in the singles tournament too, so
yeah, we'll see there. If based on this match here and seeing what he did beforehand to be able to get to it, and Shug, if he joins back in, maybe he can answer as well. He stepped away. Has Mike's officially surpassed in your mind Rachel for the IG GOAT?
I don't believe Rachel ever defended. Smets hasn't defended. Chandru has though.
Yes, but also he was a one-time champion. Rachel was a 2-time champion.
Mara.
And Mara was a 2-time champion, but she never defended.
So
Inman and Navarro both happened to have the belt as well.
I would say
did Burnett have a belt at one point? Like just weirdly early on.
He was the very first Interkingdom champion.
Right. Yeah. That's
I wouldn't say undisputed. For me, undisputed means there's no discussion.
Now here's the deal. I love Smets. I love Rachel. I think that the impact Rachel has had amongst multiple divisions might make her more influential to a lot of other people. But I also think between character work, between the number of times he's won versus everything else, I gotta say Mike is the current reigning and defending IG GOAT. Yeah. At this point here, I think it's really it. I think Mike has cemented his place here, and just
it was the one thing.
Jesus Christ, Jake.
All right, looks like Shug left. Wow, Jake,
bye, Shug.
You just don't give up, do you? You just don't. I don't know. I guess I feel like there's still a discussion could be made for Rachel and Mara for potentially. No. I mean, the one thing Mike didn't have was a defense. Got that out of the way. I talked to him afterwards the match, and he was so relieved that he finally got it.
Yeah, I agree here. It could be very different afterwards. Like, I'm telling you, I think that at this point he has cemented himself. But ASG is right. In a year, maybe things are different. Maybe things change. We don't know what a year will look like.
Smets could come back next year and just steamroll.
Shop.
He could destroy everybody. Because he would probably need three win. Actually, I wonder. 2 wins. I think he gets 2 wins. He gets a number 1 contender in IG just because his last loss was a title match, and he's Kevin Smith.
Yeah, I'd say that what they'll do is he gets 1 win to go into a number 1 contender match or something. We'll see.
So he does have Amr is a chat. He better not overlook Amaru.
No, better not overlook him. He's got that aggressively unpleasant level of questions being asked from fan leagues background. So that would be great to see. I would love to see him come back and just destroy. If Parker won it spectacular and then defended multiple times next year, maybe. It depends. But I think that multiple title wins plus a defense plus everything that's ever happened in the history of the league, when you discuss
Mike
someone
is
that's
a
the GOAT,
3-time and he's defended once. So someone has to at least do that to really take it over.
I think that talking about just like winning a title once and then holding on to the title, defending a handful of times, that there's that. But like when you talk about someone being the GOAT of something, like being in the top of the top of the top, history, you have to build the legacy. And sometimes like Dan's been up and down. He's the GOAT, but
he's won it 5 times.
He's won the title 5 times. You know what else he has? He's lost it 5 times.
Yeah. He's defended a couple times.
He's defended every time except this time.
Yeah.
And many of those times he's defended twice. So most of his matches in his singles career are fucking title matches at this point.
Smets will, pun intended, smash everybody. By the way, yeah. I don't see him playing for anyone but Kaiser.
No, at this point, no, not at all. No,
and I feel like the other managers won't even go after him out of respect. Like I feel like it's out of respect. Yeah, like it's a respect thing. For how long, Jake? How long? Do you have any? You gonna log in under the World Girls one next? I don't know if you have access to that one, but
If you have access to the World Girls or the call to action, Jake, I know I just timed you out, but if you could just go in there, pop in, subscribe, and like the video, that'd be awesome. Thank you. I think that we're talking a lot about Kalinowski being a GOAT, and he is. He's the GOAT. End of story. I think that's really it. Maybe someone else can change
by the
it over
way,
time. I think
his
Mike has it
promo
for
with the
a period.
lollipops.
The lollipop thing, size does matter. Great. I think it would have been slightly funnier and slightly better.
A little bit behind the curtain, but I feel like they both worked that out beforehand, so Mike could have.
Oh, of course they probably did to some degree. I think that it would have been a little better if he grabbed it and he pulled his and he said, "Mine's bigger." But they both were very good.
Yes, Ashley was ecstatic because she hates Chandra with a passion. She's also a huge corruption stan, so she was.
By the way,
ecstatic.
How perfect of a when did this ever happen? What are you talking about?
I can understand why. It's the one division that they struggle in.
IG?
Yes.
Good.
They
have someone else. Smets is never going to Smets and his life journey, he's never separating from Kaiser.
There is a better shot of them trying to get Parker away than getting Smets.
Yeah. Because Kaiser, no way he can hold all three of them. Mara, Parker, and Smets next year. And we're all talking about this as if Smets is definitely coming back. Look, Smets may be prepping. We don't know. But we also don't know if he's actually going to be able to come back yet. We don't know.
So yeah, scores 9-8 Chandru after 1, 18-16 Mike after 2. Mike goes perfect with comic book movies. Speed round.
And every time he gave some sort of like rundown behind the fact too. And Chandru just goes like, is this a filibuster? What's going on here?
So
Chandru was pretty entertaining during this match.
I think Chandru, with his 2 questions, tried to guess the answer before getting enough context clues. And then he froze. He didn't know the answer. And you get 2 seconds.
And he was way off with a lot of them,
the first one, Mike was like, come on. Like Mike was not happy that they hadn't ruled it yet, but they said incorrect. So Porsche. I think Chandru is probably top 5 best IG player of all time.
We'll have to see with that, but I think that how great of a heel work was it?
Stereo. So you're talking about he said it on stereo.
Stereo, yes.
The thing that was something for about 2 weeks.
It was Mike and Chandru got either of those 2. If I was Mike and Chandru got either, I would have challenged. You can't challenge during those things. But you also only have the 2 seconds. You can argue and put them on the spot, maybe, but who knows? But the what I was trying to say is how great of a heel move was it for Chandru to just use all of his repeats just to get Christian to mess up the word irradiated. And how ecstatic was Christian when he got the word right? Irradiated, and then he just
and the crowd lost it when Christian did that, by the way. I mean,
no. We're just saying that speed round stuff, there's an issue when it comes to challenging, but you can argue your way into it being noticed. That's all I'm saying.
So congrats to Mike.
Agreed. The WW84 for the betting. Yeah, no, I don't think there was any issues there. You can write WW84 or WW1984, and you could say either of those, and it would be fine. So
I'm guessing in the chat, fans were probably going crazy.
It was literally written as Wonder Woman 84 everywhere and referred to that a lot of places too. So, but in the end, Kalinowski and I know he was wearing sunglasses, but he did something that I haven't seen him do at any of his other title wins. I didn't see him cry.
That is true.
Now, the difference was he was coming from a place of winning. And
I don't either.
He bet 2 probably because he was already down and he was shaken by X-Men.
Those were tough X-Men questions too.
Yeah,
Like,
just that he got tough X-Men questions. Oyama got tough X-Men questions. It's been a tough month for X-Men questions in the IG.
Yeah.
I think that this time though, Kalinowski was coming
blame
from a place.
Blame Jeff. I only did the first one. Jeff's been doing it ever since.
Well, yeah, but that's because you kept doing it. The difference this time was Kalinowski was coming from the place of the defending champion. He already won it. His next goal was
He was the reigning champion.
And that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, because he defended. It's because he actually was able to take the time to win and hold on to it. And he did it. And every other time he's ever played against someone for the belt, it's always been someone who has some sort of like big significant role in like the history of IG to him, of like we're friendly behind the scenes. This time we know that there's like some significant negative energy between them, and he beats him. So it's all excitement and cheers. We see him teared up a bit in the interview afterwards. But that's because Shannon was like talking up how incredible
I think
Herman is.
I'm not sure where I heard this, but Mike has a unique advantage that he has Chance that can test him with quiz him, help him study for IG. Does Chandra really have that with Swag? No, he doesn't.
No, that's true. But Chandra still was able to go pretty far despite not having that and actually winning a belt. Yes, I would agree with this. I would agree with actually I'd have to really think about it because she would be ahead of him because I'd say they both have pretty similar teams of the road singles records, or not I don't even know the records, but just like everyone's memories of them being that way. Teams, they both are 2-time team champion, but she's defended and he hasn't. And then he's ahead of her as IG, and he is like miles ahead of her with IG. Not miles, he's a couple like matches overall ahead of her. So I'd say, yeah. So they're very close. They're very close overall in terms of like ranking of a player overall. And then of course you look at their legacy of what their impact on the Schmoedown itself. And they both impacted the Schmoedown in pretty incredible, but also somewhat different ways.
Mike is the face of a storyline of corruption, and he's still a part of that team. So I think that is a bigger impact than what he's done with, I think, singles.
Yeah, no, I think that Mike is ahead because you look as far as like Rachel also retired. Mike's still going, and as of right now, he's doing better than he's ever done, I think. In a lot of this stuff. Like they lost against Shazam in the highest scoring
teams match
of all time. No, it was also like the highest scoring of all time. Toe to toe between two players, because yes, Shazam technically got 2 points more in their other one against Otter Couple, but Corruption did better than Otter Couple this time.
Yeah.
And the speed round was different this time around. So it's a little bit it's obviously not apples to apples, it's very close. Or it's apples, it's not apples to oranges or whatever, it's very close, but I think Mike is above Rachel in some regards. Rachel is incredible, but Rachel stopped. And Mike keeps going, and he's at the top of his game. I think that if he's not already there at the back door, he's about to come. He's about to. In terms,
we'll see how he does against Paul Walter Hauser. See how he does against Paul. Paul Walter Hauser had a great debut against Josh Horowitz.
Very strong debut. So we'll have to see how that goes.
And then this time he doesn't have a movie coming out the same day. of his match.
Yeah, correct.
So
That's
congrats
true.
there to Mike.
His match came out when Corella came out.
If Mike beats Moses in defense the second time, it's not even close that he's the best Intergeekdom player of all time.
Oh,
like
yeah.
right now, I feel like he just hasn't.
No, I know she did what she did. I'm saying that in terms of like, if you're going to have a conversation with who someone is as the overall GOAT of something, you have to take into account their entire legacy. So that means that her legacy is from here to here, or from here to here. And Mike has here to here. And then he also has all the stuff that happened afterwards. So there's more to add to it, to build on the level of what would be closer to like an overall ranked player in terms of their impact and GOAT, etc. Blah, blah, blah. She did everything she did, and what she did was incredible. I'm just saying, it's like saying like when people are like how great Sam was, but he was really, really good for about 8 months, and then he stopped altogether.
He had a phenomenal run though. Like
he had a run. A lot of people remember him really great. He had a run and then he stopped. Right. So his overall position in the history of singles champions, team champions, etc., has been stunted by him stopping. And other people over time can surpass his accomplishments or his level of what he's accomplished thanks to their just continued participation where he didn't. So yeah, I mean,
I think we're talking in circles again.
Teams and all that stuff, and Dan's just it's so funny. It's like everyone's talking about GOAT, but it's like Dan's so far ahead still. But yeah. Anyways, why don't we talked a lot
final
about
match of the week?
Yeah.
Number 1 contender singles match: the Cobra versus Little Evil. Chance does it. Chance finally qualifies for a singles title.
Yep.
Like the singles division was the one division that he couldn't get over the hump. He's played very well in singles this year. Done all right in teams and so in IG. I think he's 0-2 in IG or 1-1 in IG. No,
I don't know.
No, he's got to be.
Wait, what are you talking about? This
Chance. Yeah, this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny about this is they filmed this match before the Moose Haas match.
Yeah, so like,
and so when Chance in his post match against Haas saying maybe I'll deliver JTE that TKO, he already had. So
this is where I guess it's a matter of this is the problem as far as like talking about impact is that's where a lot of stuff has to do with like almost like you have to like bullet point out, but also like subjectivity comes into that between Mike and Rachel. Because by the way, we're talking about two incredible people and just like ranking who's better when you get to that point, which is like incredibly difficult to do and almost like a bad taste to be like, well, I think they're a better person or whatever. But they both have incredible impact, and it's more of like a gut feeling of which one might be ranked over. But they're also, as we said, so close at that point. It's hard to determine. I'm just saying how I feel at this exact moment that he might have just
William. Yes, her. He filmed this Ellison JTE match first. There was another match, and then he filmed his Haas match. So it was a tough day, but I think Chance was riding that high of winning this match. I'm not so sure losing to Haas mattered as much to him because he wants that singles belt. Like he wants that singles belt. And so he's one match away, and he may be playing a faction mate because Marisol plays Ethan in about 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks, for the singles title of the world.
Yep. I am hoping that Erwin loses.
Yes, nothing against Erwin. I love Erwin, but I want to see a woman singles champion.
I want to see a woman singles. I want it to be Marisol. Marisol is to singles this year as like Harper is to Star Wars. I think with like the hype coming into this year, the difference being that she had a record last year.
Also, I don't know who said this, but someone suggested Marisol for comeback player of the year. I'm like, no. You can't be comeback player of the year if you're the most sought after draft pick.
If you
I don't
can't be comeback
remember-
player of the year
I can't
if
remember who said
you
it.
came in as a rookie in the second half of the year and were 1-on-1 in singles and 1-on-1 in teams, and then you were the craziest draft pick sign up player like of the whole
By the way,
thing.
corruption won that trade. By the way, looking back on it right now, definitely
Corruption definitely won out.
the
on that
first
trade.
2 months. I thought, maybe it's even. Nope, it's freaking Shannon. Fucking
Corruption
crushed
did it again, didn't it? Corruption's doing it again.
So what's
They were
crazy?
down at
if
the
you
bottom.
Look at the
coming up.
faction standings now. The top 5 are within 7 points of each other.
One championship match could be big. Like
If
It's-
Marisol wins, there goes Corrupt. I think they go 5th to.
you can't be a comeback player of the year. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, big comebacks. Oh, my light went off. Oh well.
Hold on. I want to pull up the actual current standings.
Exactly. If he went on a run, he could have actually.
Yes.
if he went on a
So
run,
if
Preston could.
Marisol
That's
wins,
an example.
Corruption is tied for Dungeon for first place.
Correct. So if Marisol wins, and then comes the whole thing of like, well, damn, if Marisol wins, then that automatically will put Corruption
This is different.
firmly.
This is different because Ace wasn't a rookie last year. Even though
Yeah.
I thought he was, but
Yeah, Ace was not a rookie. He had one match that he played a few years prior. So that's why he was rookie of the year.
these are the current faction standings. So you can see Corruption is in 5th place. Marisol wins. Now, we don't know what other matches we're getting in that time, so they may not be in first. I can guarantee you they'll be close. They'll be close if Marisol wins that match.
Well, we also have to remember that you also have Lightning Time. Lightning Time, I don't think they will, because I think that Irwin may be, pretty on par with Bibiani in a lot of ways, but I think that Brandon Meyer is a better player than Liz. Like if this was Lightning Time versus Shazam this time, Shazam would have probably won, wouldn't have gone to overtime because they don't have Alon Harris pulling them down. But you're talking about ifs. Lightning Time has the same potential there to be able to win and then also defend this year. And that would be another 15 points right there. That's the same math as this one here. But actually I'm wrong, because you saying this here, Marisol wins, Mike defense. If Marisol wins, then there's an automatic additional 7 or 8 points because of the chance thing. So this is huge if Marisol
And
wins.
if
it's huge.
who do they have left? And depending on what they do in the singles tournament and the teams tournament, Corruption could pull away again.
And look at this. JTE, the end of he had a very strong season, and it kind of ended weird. He looked so strong for a lot of it, but I mean, it was kind of up and down there by the end. So,
I think you could give it to JTE right now for comeback player of the year.
sorry.
Maybe Dimolanta. Maybe Andrew Dimolanta.
I'd probably, I don't know. My gut feeling would be to give it to Dimolanta. Can you stop it? Go away.
Go away.
So, but at the end of the day, Chance was on the receiving end and the giving end
13-12
of a 13-12
TKO.
TKO.
I'm surprised JT stuck with new releases, to be honest. I was very shocked when that was happening.
Yeah.
I
mean,
didn't
then
consider
again,
that.
maybe it's because I'm someone who like knows all the new releases. I figured maybe he just would like know it too, because it's not like a super deep bench of films.
By the way, if this happens, Shannon's promo at Spectacular, she will call out all the fans, by the way. She'll call them all out, and I'll live for it.
No, because
No.
Mara lost her belt, and then she was gone for a while. She came back, and it was like, oh my god, she actually won, and she was really good. And then she immediately lost it. But she lost it to Mike. Love Mara, but that's what happened. When you look at Dimolanta, he's someone who lost in the tournament. He also coming off a loss, going to have a title shot, winning, and then defending it multiple times.
Yeah.
3 title matches he's played this year that he's won after his last year being a failed run in a tournament. And before that, not doing like the best other stuff. Like Dimolanta is far and away above Mara. I don't really care about this whole, well, she came out of nowhere after being gone for so long. That means nothing. She was studying and working with Dan the whole way through.
I feel like JTE and Mara have the same sort of story. They were away for a bit and they came back, but JTE did really well in that team's tournament. He beat Goddard, he beat Preston. He was a few questions away from going to a singles title match. I personally give it to him.
But the comeback player is how someone did for the whole year. You're confusing an upset.
Mara was half the year. Again, not her fault. There are some other things that happen.
You're confusing what an upset is with a comeback player. The comeback takes the whole year into account. What happened to them this whole year? As opposed to one surprising match. She came back and did incredible against Chandru. And then she lost it. She's had 2 matches. She has an exhibition that also is just dropping. But that doesn't count.
I haven't watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a sponsored exhibition.
Did she really peak this year though?
But you're doing this thing again where you're ignoring context. So it's you go away, you come back, great. That's like what you're saying is JTE went away for a while. He came back and won 1 match. He should be comeback player of the year. That's not how it works. Like you're doing this thing again. Yeah, she peaked at a title and then she dropped the title. Dimolanta peaks at a title. He's still winning and keeping the belt. A comeback, it's talking about how you did in a year versus prior.
We'll have to see who gets nominated for comeback player of the year.
I could see all of them get nominated for it, but I think that like ignoring context on people's entire journeys is a flawed way to look at this stuff. It doesn't work.
Well, this was a fun show. This is definitely
Alex Smith. I don't know who the guy is, but he's in the NFL. NFL's a real sport. NFL's a sport where they have actual like.
He played the whole year. ASG Mars only really played half the year,
and she only played 2 matches. If your context is someone who played an entire season from beginning to end, is someone who is comeback player of the year, you should see when Alex Smith won his first match. I guess that means that he won. Is that what you're saying? Because that's the logic you're using. Yeah, JTE absolutely had to carry. So, anyways,
everyone, thanks for tuning in this week. This is the longest we've gone just talking the matches.
We had Shug for a bit.
We were talking in circle. We did talk. We talked about the singles tournament there for a bit, so I hope everyone enjoyed that.
Yeah, you're not winning this year. You should actually do your show. Maybe you'll actually get one. Or maybe you actually win. Oh, wait. I got to put you in timeout. I'm sorry. I should have done that instead of talking.
Hey, we try. We try, Matt. So, we do...
Yeah, the moment he started, and then he kept playing. Then he kept playing. Then he kept playing. Then he kept won. Then he won after all that.
Jeff,
man,
stop.
You're having a bad take. Just fucking sit down. All right? We're done.
We got a triggered quiz show here.
We're done. You have bad takes, ASG. Get over it.